Welcome to our Microsoft Power BI and Business Central combination video where we will be talking about Microsoft's new Power BI connector for Business Central, as well as some cool apps that have came out for Business Central 26.2. I'm your host, Lamont Broomfield, and I will be guiding you through this business intelligence adventure. So as you can see on my screen, we have one of the pre-built apps that Microsoft has released. And these apps are free apps that are ready to connect to your data from day one. You don't have to do a lot of setup, but we were going to cover all those setups inside of today's video. And we're going to talk about everything that's going to be related to these apps. And these apps are not just one report, they're a collection of reports that are going to give you the most concise data and give you everything that you need as far as your business intelligence needs. So let's talk about today's agenda. We're going to talk about requirements like I just mentioned earlier, and then of course an integration overview for the Power BI connector, downloading those apps, connecting data, sharing reports, refreshing data, and then we will go ahead and talk about my favorite app, the Finance app. So let's talk about some requirements. You will need a Power BI Pro or Premium license. And you'll also need a Business Central environment and company that you want to link to that Power BI report. When it comes to the Power BI integration with Business Central, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go here to Tell Me and search up Power BI so you can get to the Power BI connector setup. This connector setup is going to be the integration warehouse for your Power BI connection. So this is going to control your date table configurations as well as the apps that you link here. So as we see here with our finance report, we have that Power BI finance app already linked in here because it's linked to our Power BI workspace. And of course, you can control other things in here as well as your start date and end dates. So that way you can control the ranges for those apps. Now, of course, our data whisperers here at Integrato would explain to you that with the right setup and a Pro and Premium license, you can pull stunning reports directly into Business Central. And that's right, no more tab hopping like a caffeinated squirrel. We'll see that Business Central now includes a ton of Power BI reports that are extremely useful to your day-to-day operations whenever you're utilizing this system. So let's say we need to look at our profitability for the day. As you can see here, because I already have this link to my Power BI workspace, it will automatically bring up that profitability report. So I don't have to go hunting for it, and I don't have to go into an external program, and I can still get all the same features that I would if I was inside of Power BI. Next, let's talk about downloading apps. So starting here in your Power BI service home screen, we're going to go over here to the apps section. Now we're in the apps section, we're just going to go ahead and click Get Apps. And we're going to search for Business Central. This is going to filter all of the apps that are specific for Business Central, and we can see that we have a few downloaded in here already. If I wanted to get, let's say, this inventory valuation app, I would just want to hover over it first just to make sure that we are on the correct version. And as we can see here with this highlighted section, it's the Inventory Valuation Power BI app for Business Central for 26.2, which is the current version of BC. We'll just click Get Now. And of course, this will start to download that app into our Power BI workspace and create a separate workspace for that app as well. Click Install. Now, of course, it's going to give you the option as soon as you download that app to go straight to that app so you can check it out. Next, let's talk about connecting your data from Business Central into these Power BI apps. So in Business Central, what you'll want to do is search up companies using Tell Me. You just want to make sure that you're picking the name over here and not the display name. So the display name is going to be what is displayed on Business Central, but what Power BI is going to be looking for is this name right here. And then of course, you'll also need your environment name. Your environment might not say production or sandbox, it might be named something else. So just keep that in mind whenever you're going through and connecting these apps. If we switch over here to Power BI, we're going to go ahead and connect our inventory valuation app that we had just downloaded to our data. It's going to tell us that we have our sample data in here, and it's going to ask if we would like to connect our data. So let's click on Connect Your Data, and then we're just going to put in our company name here, and then we'll type in the environment, which is production. Once it's checked for your credentials, it's going to have your authentication method for OAuth 2, and then we'll also have your privacy level setting. So of course, We have this set for private, and that is our best practice. And if you don't know what your privacy level setting should be, just set it to private. So that way your organization's information is not being put out into the public space. Because if you were to have this set to none or public, that means that anybody around the world who has access to Power BI can see the app that you're working on. So it's just best to keep this on an organizational or private level to make sure that there's no unauthorized access into this app. And then we're going to sign in and connect. And voila, as you can see on the screen, everything's changed. And we can see that it's now connected to our Integrato Reports demo company. And the last refresh was today at about 7:44 a.m. Next, let's talk about sharing reports. In an interconnected world that we live in this data-driven society, sharing is caring. So we want to make sure that we're able to share these reports to everybody that needs to see this versus just sharing this out to the world. So if we go back to our Power BI workspace here, we can see all of our workspaces now have those separate apps. So we can go ahead and click on here and click on our workspace settings or workspace access to control the access. So let's go ahead and click on the access. And this is where I would go ahead and add in new people so that way they can have access to this Power BI app. So let's say I need to add in our CEO here at Integrato, Robert Cheney. I would just type in his name, select the correct email address or username, and then click add. Now that he's added in here, we'll see that he's reflected in here as a viewer. So he might not have the ability to go in and make any changes, but he can still view this data. Now, of course, no one wants to just add people one by one. So we suggest here at Integrato using Entra security groups so that way you can group everyone together. This is going to ensure that any new person or employee that gets hired and added into this group doesn't necessarily need to be added into every app as long as that group is added into the app. It will all happen seamlessly. So I'm going to type in Business Central because that's our main group here at Integrato. And I'll go ahead and add them in. And I'll go ahead and also add them as a contributor so that way they can go ahead and contribute to some of this data. And you can also, fun fact, change that, viewer to admin member or contributor from the screen over here to manage data access. So if I want them to contribute or just be a member, then I can go ahead and change that here seamlessly. If I want to remove anybody, all I have to do is just click remove and boom, that person's gone. So if you're not sure what an Entra security group is or you have trouble setting it up, go ahead and contact us here at Integrato. We would be happy to help you get everything set up on your security needs so that way everything is flowing seamlessly through all your systems. Let's talk about refreshing data. No one likes stale data, and of course, we want you guys to have the most up-to-date data as possible so that way you can make the best possible data-driven decisions for your organization. So let me go ahead and hop into Power BI. Alrighty, so starting over here in our Power BI service, we're going to just go over here to our inventory valuation app. And I'm going to go to our semantic model. Now, of course, we see here that we have several options here. We can either manually refresh this app, or we can go ahead and schedule a refresh here. Now, I'm going to show you the other way to do this. We're going to go ahead and go into settings. And we're just going to scroll down to refresh. So in our refresh section here, we can see that we have our time zone that we want the refresh to be configured to, as well as having a refresh schedule. So of course, if we click this on, we can go ahead and have a daily refresh or a weekly refresh, depending on your data needs. And then of course, we can go ahead and set some time. So let's say I need this report to refresh in the middle of the night at 1 a.m. But I also need it to refresh right before I get into work as well at 7 a.m. Once again, at about 4 o'clock. So that way I'm getting the most up-to-date data. You can only have 8 refreshes a day when it comes to your pro license. And then with your premium license, you can get up to 48 refreshes a day if you need more refreshes than, 1 an hour per your work day. Notice our send refresh failure notifications section. Our best practices here at Integrato is to add our service account in there as well as someone else from your organization so that way we can see these failure notifications ourselves on our side and we can go ahead and assist you in a quick and efficient manner. So finally, let's talk about the Finance Report app. It is my favorite app that has been released for Business Central from Power BI, and I just want to show you guys all the cool things that are available with that app. Starting in Business Central, we're just going to go over here to the Finance Report. And the difference between reports and apps, just to give you a little tip, is that a report is just going to be one report, and the app is going to be a collection of all of these reports put into one place. So that way you don't have to flip through multiple reports. You have it all in one screen. So we can see here we have our finance overview, income statement, balance sheet, budget comparison, liquidity KPIs, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of valuable information here that you and your organization can use right off the bat, and all this was already created for you. So there's not a lot of heavy lifting on the data management side. Now, one thing I do want to highlight and mention with that finance report, going back to our Power BI connector setup, is that you're going to also need to set up your Power BI account categories. So that way Power BI knows how you're mapping everything from Business Central into those reports. And because of Business Central's powerful flexibility, everybody can make their own GL account categories. So it's just very important that you go in here and make sure that you set this up. And if you have any questions at all, or you really need somebody to help you out with setting up these GL account categories or linking them to your Power BI account categories, please reach out to us and we'll be grateful and glad to assist you. And that's it. So if you found this helpful, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your team, and hit that subscribe button for more Microsoft Power Insights. And if you have any questions or comments, please drop them down in the comment section or reach out to us at support@integratotech.com.